this. It's the fugitive.
And with a yo-ho-ho, it's TaleOfTheToaster. Welcome back to Inazuma 11 GO Shadow. I'm switching over to this version of the game to cover the exclusive story found in its post-game, which will eventually lead to us taking on Shadow's post-game final boss team of Ancient Darkness. It's a tough one. First, we need to head to Ryman Junior High. What? You're absolutely sure? I am. I received word from Sanford. It seems the Royal Academy player who went missing has returned. He must have had a traumatic experience though. He was very weak when he returned, and apparently muttering some strange things. Does that mean what I think it means? I'd like to speak to him, if you don't mind. And we'll go do that at Royal Academy. But first I need to clear something up for those who may have been watching a similar video on my channel for the post-game story of Inazuma 11 GO Lite. You will notice that although both of these games have exclusive post-game stories, they start in exactly the same way. Now I want viewers to be able to find whichever video is relevant to them and have the same experience, so I will be covering that full identical story in each video. But if you've seen the other video already, feel free to skip ahead about 10 minutes to get to the exclusive content. For now... Mustn't get on the ship. Not that ship. Not ever. The big ship near the river raft arena. Stay away. Don't board that ship. If you do, only nightmares await. Ah! Forgive me! Forgive me! No more! No more! What on earth happened to him? What could be that bad? Now that's hardly a glowing review of that ship, but Arion Sherwind was never one to shy away from danger, and he's going to ignore that warning and head straight over to it. Please head to Roulette Park and look not where the flag is, but instead click on the water station icon to get to the start of the River Raft Arena path. The raft path, with a picture of a crab, if you so desire. We're going to avoid all warnings and board this boat. Wow, this is a pretty big ship. Do you think it's that one that the boy from Royal was talking about? Don't get too close. It could be dangerous. Huh? For some reason I feel really sleepy. Take them on board.
But someone knocked us out, brought us here. Nothing but ocean as far as the eye can see. What is this? Some kind of desert island?
This is Sanctum. The name means sacred place, but don't be fooled. It's as far from sacred as you can get. Sanctum is an isolated island where 5th Sector train young players to become Imperials.
Oh, that explains why we can't see the mainland.
I was only here for a short time, so I don't know all that much about the island itself. But what I can say is that that the training carried out here is not normal. Even after becoming Imperials, all who have trained on this island fear to return. It's a difficult place to forget.
Why have we been brought to such a terrible place?
Don't you worry yourselves. We're here and all. Good to see you once again.
Mr. Frost,
Then that means...
That there are Inazuma National players on this island for us to speak to. Before we get to them, I do just want to showcase that this shop on the island is selling some of the best equipment in the game. It's very expensive, but given the difficulty of the match we will be taking on in this video, I would recommend buying some and equipping it to your players. I won't be doing so on screen, of course, but it's very, very recommended to make sure your players are as well equipped for the battle as they can be. But for now, let's speak to Mark Evans and his friends.
These are my friends. They've been helping me investigate this island.
huh?
Hi, I'm Nathan Swift. Any Rymon student is a friend of mine.
Yeah, same. But I'm me. I'm Jack Woolside. It's great to meet the new up-and-coming team.
Ah, and you're...
Caleb Stonewall. Can't say I like getting wrapped up in other people's business. But I guess I can make an exception in this case.
Stonewall. As in the Stonewall. You played for Inazuma National too, right? It's like you're all back together again.
It's like a dream. I mean, Swift and Woolside. We're talking Pro League players here. Let's get their autographs.
I'm not sure if this is the time.
I'm sure you all remember when I left the team for a while. But one of the reasons I had to do that was to investigate this island.
I found out there were a right dreadful training facility on this island that 5th Sector were using to produce Imperials. So I told Mark.
This was just after our match with Alpine.
That's right. Once I heard what Sean had to say, I couldn't just ignore it. So I got some old friends together and we started investigating.
Did you find anything out?
This is just one of many training facilities run by 5th Sector. You can find them all over Japan. But this particular facility, Sanctum, is the most high-ranking of them all.
So the very best Imperials come from here. Wow.
The problem lies in their methods. Sanctum is like a prison. They keep children locked up and force them to follow an intense training regime.
But that's awful.
Yeah, it really is.
That's why we intend to expose 5th Sector's wrongdoings. Then we'll shut down 5th Sector and release all the children suffering here.
I were hoping you lot wouldn't get mixed up in this, but since you're here now, will you help us?
Yeah. All right, let's get moving then. Don't know what we might find here, so stay on your guard, everyone.
Interestingly, that line from Arion Sherwind about Caleb Stonewall being on Inazuma National is only found in the Go Shadow post-game story because he's already met Nathan and Jack Woolside previously. But otherwise, the entire point of the story leading up to this point is exactly the same in both Light and Shadow, aside from that one minor line. This is where the differences start to come in though, because we head down this path, and if you were playing Go Light, you would be sent straight to a cutscene, and you'd be taking on Eternal Light in there. But in Shadow, you have to go a little bit further along the line with some investigating. This is a very open path. Let's stick to the actual pathway, shall we? There are random encounters here that will run straight up to you. And these are some very powerful teams, of course, to set you up for the extremely, extremely powerful team waiting at the very end of the route. So, especially challenging when it's a don't lose the ball game. I can struggle with these even when they're just randoms on any street. Nevertheless, we've got to give it a go, because if we can't win a random encounter, then what chance do we stand against Ancient Darkness? They're not far away, but this is, as we say, where the differences start to come in, and we will be meeting a different team that's not found in Inazuma 11 GO Light, with a different captain who we may be familiar with. In fact, this area in general is something we may be familiar with if you pay close attention to your surroundings on this second screen. Maybe not quite yet, but for now we want to cross this bridge, and there is a photo opportunity here of a waterfall. I'm not going to take on any more random encounters unless I have to, which I do. Sometimes I just have to remind myself that I can use a fighting spirit and don't lose the ball encounters. Now in this chest we've got some victory gloves, so that's a very good equipable item for your goalkeeper, and again, very much worth shoving on before we get to this extreme challenge, which is not far away now. But this treasure chest here contains Dance on Air, a dribbling move which is in JP's special moves library. This item is actually exclusive to Inazuma 11 GO Light, GO Shadow, and if you were playing GO Light, you would instead be getting Lucian Dark's shooting move, which is just a lot better. I think the GO Shadow players kind of got the jip here. We got a much worse move in that chest, but hey ho, don't want to miss it. Instead we want to take a picture of the Guardian Spirit statue, which should feel familiar. And we can even train our luck in this area. We may as well do that for Arion, because he certainly has history in this area and generally seems to be a lucky guy. The luck stat in general is something we cannot even train until the post game. We'll use it on Ricardo, who is very unlucky throughout the story, getting hospitalized in the final chapter. But he's proven to be lucky here, kicking his sandal into the ground and burying it through. Fair enough, eh? We can still talk to the birds, but no actual players unless we were to play football with them. And cats as well. Certainly get healed up. And we have one more photo opportunity to take of this windmill. And I think by now you should remember where we are. So let's head down this path and see what this Ancient Darkness team is all about.
Welcome, friends, to Sanctum. I am Mountbatten, the director of this sacred training ground. Raimon 11, you have been graced with the honor to take part in a special training course courtesy of 5th Sector.
Training from 5th Sector? You're out of your mind!
We know about the terrible things you're doing here. Release the children at once!
Once you have come to appreciate your own powerlessness, you will crave the power that we can offer you.
Power?
First, allow me to show you the ultimate power, the limitless, magnificent power we possess.
Why still make such a ruckus in our forest right now? We are ancient darkness. We are the cloak of deepest night.
Tezcat, why are you here? Did 5th Sector force you to do this?
No, nothing today. I joined this team on my own accord.
Can't believe it.
Don't you remember what I told you? There's no point playing if you're not strong. That's why I joined this team.
No way.
What should we do?
If it's a match day one, then we'll just have to give them one, won't we?
Yeah, but is that really what Tezcat thinks football's all about?
The atmosphere around here is right dark and heavy. I don't know how 5th
kids like this.
Ultimate strength? So, if the Sanctum students are the chosen among the Imperials, these players are the chosen among them.
Everyone do your best. We can't go running from a challenge.
He calls this special training. There's always got to be someone with some seriously messed up ideas.
Seeking ultimate strength will only lead to tearing yourself apart. Trust me.
I know. Everyone just play your own way. Aim for victory like always. That's all you can do.
And there we go. We would now be ready to take on Ancient Darkness. If you were to carry on over here, you cannot go further, but that's a little bit of foreshadowing for an area we may want to have a look at in the future. But focus on the present. We have a really difficult battle to face. Ancient Darkness are level 60 and they are captained by Tezcat, who Arion has great history with. Don't worry about the random encounter on the left hand side of the bottom screen, it's not relevant. I'm all leveled up. Let's take on the team in the toughest challenge of Go Shadow.
Are you ready to face Ancient Darkness? Football without power is meaningless. You'll see that soon enough.
And Ancient Darkness are level 60. I am level 61, so we have a very even standing here with this as my choice of formation. If you are not at least level 60 before doing this match, you should be. I recommend doing the lower route of Vladimir's Ultimate Tournament in the post game and S-ranking all the matches, because that will get you up to around level 60 and also unlock the golden key that you can use to get some more fighting spirits and also a new goalkeeping move for JP, either Capable Hands or God Hand V, depending on the version of the game you're playing. But of course, if you're playing Ancient Darkness, that means you're playing Shadow, so you'd be getting Capable Hands. Tezcat is the captain of this team at level 65, and he has got Black Ash, possibly the strongest shooting move in the game, almost, and has Warp Step and Sideswipe, both mega moves, on his dribbling and his block. So he is a force to be reckoned with, and he's Wood element, as is his fighting spirit Black Butcher. So if you want to take that down, you want to use fire type fighting spirits, and the only player on your team who has one by default is Victor. Unfortunately, Victor's fighting spirit isn't actually that good because, you know, you have to have it right at the start of the game, and so for balance reasons, Lancelot's not all that good. But I'm going to bring it out anyway, just to get things started in this match. Otherwise, yeah, your other main threat would be the goalkeeper, because he has a very powerful saving move called Bridge to Nowhere, and of course a fighting spirit of his own, just as you would expect. The defensive formation of this team is not quite as good as the formation used by Eternal Light, because that has a defender in front of the goal at all times to stop you from just getting a cheeky flying fish into the back of the net. It's there to stop long shots and shots in general through shot blocking. Unfortunately, this goalkeeper, whose first name is Nero, by the way, the same name as the goalkeeper from Genesis, all the way back in Inazuma 11 2, unfortunately he wants to use close counter instead of showing off the Bridge to Nowhere, which I'm really keen to see, because, not gonna lie, this is actually the first time I've ever taken on Ancient Darkness as a team, and so I don't believe I've even seen Bridge to Nowhere before, and I would really like to see it. But right now, our most pressing issue is the fact that Tezcat has possession of the ball, and they're bringing out another fighting spirit to go along with it, Black Rook, just to make things even more troubling. So, straight away, let's try and maintain this lead, shall we? Offside Trap is going to beat out Dark Thunder. Had they brought out Dark Thunder, that would have slowed our movement speed. It's taken from Devil Army Z in Inazuma 11 3. But what isn't taken from anything is this music. Oh, just listen to it as they bring out yet another spirit. Well, fine, I already exposed the fact that they don't have a defender in front of the goal to try and block this. I'm sure somebody must be able to, but most of these defenders are using Sideswipe, which is a very good move for stopping the ball, but it has no shot blocking capabilities, so yeah, there's actually nothing to stop us from delivering this straight to the goalkeeper. Please show us bridge to nowhere. Oh, we're really going to go down this route. Even getting the block with close counter. I want to see bridge to nowhere at least once. Thankfully, the goalkeeper can't bring out his fighting spirit because they've already got 3 active, so that is your chance to strike. I'm going to bring out Maestro real quick and see if I can maybe get a Griffin set up, but from the looks of things, I may need to bring out JP's fighting spirit instead. Do I have another offside trap usage by any chance? I actually do. I can use offside trap twice in one match now that I'm level 60. But yeah, and being level 60 is something I highly recommend for this map. I can still remember my first time taking on Eternal Light, because that's the version of the game I actually played for the first time. And yeah, I tried to do it at like level 40 as soon as I've beaten the game, and it didn't go well. When I say you want to do Vladimir's route first, that's the most sincerest advice I can give. Otherwise, yeah, just stick to the fighting spirits that can defeat Tezcats in battle if you need to get rid of it. And that's going to be our second goal of the match. So, yeah, when this team out-levels you, they're a significant threat. But when you're about on par with them, suddenly not so bad. And I'm going to bring out Arch Pegasus just to outnumber them even more. Because again, Griffin is something that really entertains me to use in this game. It's just so unbelievably powerful. And also, you know, this team is one of the 2 focuses of the Inazuma 11 GO movie alongside the Light exclusive team. And the whole thing that happens in that movie is that before the Universal match of the anime has even aired, they bring out Griffin for the first time to deal with both teams. And so we kind of may need that, because Tezcat is proving to be an unstoppable force. I definitely can't use offside trap anymore. This is my last line of defense. No, Tezcat's going to get past that, so nothing else I can do. He's even got a fair amount of FSP left, so... And I've only got God Hand, so... I mean, I'll use it just for the sake of looking at it, but okay, that's going to be their goal, to make things a little more interesting, I suppose you could say. Yeah, just making sure. JP really... Oh yeah, thank you for offering a quick voice clip, Tezcat. Oh man, like I've said on record that out of Bylong and Tezcat, my personal preference of the 2 characters is Bylong, mainly because of circumstances outside of this game itself, but I do admit that Tezcat has the better role in Go 1. The team's greatest asset is not found in their attack. They see through their opponent's abilities and use them to their own advantage. You could say they're the embodiment of negative energy. Ah, what's going on? Every time we try to get close, they're one step ahead of us. They're ready to intercept the ball at any moment, as if they're reading our every move. I think I've toyed with you enough. Let's finish this. Oh, we can't lose to these guys. So as I was saying, yeah, Tezcat, I believe his cutscenes with Arion are the better written ones in comparison to... I should have attacked and just gotten rid of this Black Butcher for good, but nevertheless... Oh, taking loads of damage. But let's repair it, shall we? Because I've got Maestro and Lancelot and Arch Pegasus active. So let's just bring it all back together, bring out Griffin. It's canonical, I have an excuse. And that's going to be full health on Arion once again, and this should be very, very hard to stop. Griffin actually might even be a fire-type fighting spirit, which would have the advantage over Tezcat if we were to fight them again. But I'm pretty sure Griffin, you know, beats everything, even if it's at a disadvantage. It's just excellent. But yeah, so although my preference of the version exclusive scenes is the Victor and Bylon ones, just because it means we get more Victor instead of getting more Arion. Arion does a lot in this game anyway. Finally seeing Bridge to Nowhere, but this time it has to fail because we hit it with the strongest move in our arsenal. But yeah, I do admit that Tezcat and Arion have some really well-written scenes, and his voice acting is incomparably better. Like, Bylong's voice is just funny levels of bad. I will completely admit that. Whereas Tezcat has probably the best voice acting in the whole game. I love the way he sounds, and yeah, I once again should have attacked him, but we've let him pass. Killer Whale was not enough. Wow, Tezcat is pulling his weight, but we've finally got rid of Black Butcher, so now he will at least be a normal player with extremely powerful and excessively good moves all around, and now Nero has also brought out his fighting spirit, so I don't rate our chances of getting another goal. But what's also worth pointing out is that once you've summoned Griffin, you may need a reminder to say, oh yeah, now I can use 2 more fighting spirits again, because all 3 that I'd set up have now just turned back into 1 again. So you could have Atlas, Musashi and Griffin active all at once if you so chose. So I'm bringing out JPs just as insurance to make sure they cannot score. So Ancient Darkness and Eternal Light is bringing up the menu, but I can't actually do anything. Just going to have to cope with this and have my lowered movement speed. So would I say there's one of these teams that's better than the other one? Not really. Like, I do believe Tezcat is a harder challenge for the story team than Bylong is, just based on type advantages. All of their moves are exactly as strong as each other's, of course. But yeah, there's no real one that's better than the other, but they do have different music tracks, and again, no real preference, but oh, they're both bangers, I tell you what. And yeah, I kind of forgot that my players had been slowed down by Dark Thunder. It lasts a long time, and it's messing up my passes, but it doesn't mess up my possession of the ball. Don't go offside, Rickard! Well, I mean, fair enough. He's not going to score anyway. But it's a chance to show Brimstone Rain in context as well, because Brimstone Rain, Ricardo will only learn that at levels that you would only achievably reach in the post-game of Inazuma 11 GO, but he learns it as a collab move with Victor in the movie and uses it against these teams. Similarly, Victor gets his own special move, which is called Supernatural Strike in the dub, better known as Devil Burst, which I showed off in one of the previous episodes. Those are all learned in the movie, and I'm glad I at least got to use one, even though it didn't score. And just look at the speed of Griffin, just completely outrunning the opponents. Griffin is so good. The main thing about using Griffin, it's so fast and so fun that when it runs out and you have to go back to normal running speed, it is so jarring to go back to that. But nevertheless, we have done this. Ancient Darkness are no more. Can I get one more shot? I'm too far away. It's not even going to reach the goalkeeper before they call the whistle. But that's fun. Tezcat getting a goal, but Ryman prevails 3-1 to hopefully free these kids from the grasp of 5th Sector and stop Tezcat from being a bad guy, because he seems so nice. Stop being the embodiment of darkness and all of that. That's not what we see from you. Get those level ups on deck. We get the Ancient Kit and the Formation Ancient Power, but I do believe Ancient Power is inferior to the formation used by Eternal Light.
Tezcat. So much for Ancient Darkness, eh? Not so tough now, are they, like?
No, they're still holding back. We haven't seen their true ability yet.
Perhaps. It was fun playing football with you, Arion, but you're still too weak. The true ultimate strength is much greater than you know. I hope we can meet again.
The true ultimate strength? You don't think he means there's another team even stronger than them?
It's possible. At any rate, there's no point sticking around here now. Let's withdraw.
Just as planned, Raimon have become the catalyst for the true ultimate power to take shape.
But they are still not strong enough to serve our purposes. We must hone their abilities further. Then, once they are strong enough,
The ultimate team, Zero, our greatest desire will finally be achieved.
Well, I guess this is goodbye.
about us, we'll be here a good while yet.
I get the feeling there's still something we've overlooked, some hidden purpose to this island that we haven't uncovered.
Best of luck then, and be careful, alright?
Do your best out there in the final, okay? Go get 'em!
The success of this revolution rests in your hands. Lead them well, Jude.
You hardly need to tell me that.
Thanks for your help, everyone. We'll see you later.
It's a little bit jarring that they have to reference doing well in the final, which we've already necessarily beaten to unlock that match at all. But yeah, if you're following the timeline of the anime, the movie actually released before even the Universal episode of the anime, and that's where Griffin makes its debut rather than in that match. But it does appear in both. But nevertheless, Zero. That is indeed a thing that we will be covering in this series. And indeed, if you haven't already seen the video against Eternal Light, then I'll make sure you're able to access both of those through the end card. But to unlock Zero, you need to have beaten Ancient Darkness on Shadow, and either you or a friend needs to have beaten Eternal Light on a copy of Light, and then you have to link those games together to unlock Zero. I'll be covering that very, very soon, so I hope you stay tuned.